Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of the RBM Roundtable, where we get the chance to catch up with our Bowls Australia Regional Bowls Manager team and find out what they've been up to, and more importantly, especially for this segment, what one of our great clubs has been up to. So today I've got two guests joining me. Firstly, our RBM for Northern New South Wales in Craig Donaldson. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, Clive. Yourself?
Yeah, very, very well. And I've got to say, it's our absolute pleasure to be joined by the Bowls Coordinator from the Port City Bowls Club in Phil Baker. How are you, Phil?
G'day, Clive. Great to be here and looking forward to catching up.
Yeah, so pleased to get a chance to talk to one of our clubs. You know, it's been hard work for all of our clubs out there, so to get it from the coalface is going to be great. We've got plenty to cover. Craig, give us the rundown on Craig Donaldson. How long you've been in the RBM role, and yeah, and a bit of a rundown on yourself.
All right. So, excuse me, I've been in the role for 3.5 years approximately. And as you touched on, cover Northern New South Wales. So I go as far south as Laurieton, as far north as Kingscliff, and as far west as Burke.
Nice part of the world.
Yeah. So it's afforded me the opportunity to certainly get to some places that I never thought I'd get to within the state. So definitely a good thing.
And Phil, as I mentioned, from the Port City Bowls Club, give us, well, where are you to start with? Where is the Port City Club, and how long have you been in the Bowls Coordinator role?
Port City Bowling Club is located in Port Macquarie. We're on the mid-north coast, right bang in the middle of Sydney and Brisbane. So we're 5 hours north of Sydney and 5 hours south of Brisbane. So perfect location, right on the coast. A lot of people come up and visit this beautiful place. And I've been here for 5 years as a bowls coordinator and been playing bowls for about 28 years. So been in the game a long time, Clive, and really enjoy the position that I have here at Port City Bowling Club.
Fantastic. We all love working in bowls, that's for sure. So, Craig, obviously it's been a tricky time for our clubs with the COVID-19 situation, as well as other things that have been going on over on the East Coast. And I guess the message is there's help out there for clubs at the moment as now they start to negotiate what reopening looks like.
Yeah, certainly. It's really been unprecedented times. I don't think many of us have experienced anything like this, if ever. And at the moment, you know, the important message, you know, for clubs taking the appropriate measures as they look to reopen, both for bowls and for trade. The good news is Bowls Australia has recently released a COVID-19 response plan and toolkit. So with that comes some, you know, really useful resources and initiatives, and they'll be continued to roll out over the coming months. They're available on the Bowls Australia website. Alternatively, you know, you can always contact your RBM to get access to that also. But definitely encourage clubs to check that out and use that as a tool and a resource to help them in the transition to post-COVID life.
Yeah, certainly. So it's bowls.com.au for the website, and when you head to the club support portal as well, you'll get all that information around the regional bowls manager team, plus a host of other information that's there, Craig.
Exactly.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, and Phil, from a club point of view, how's the COVID situation hit the club? What have you done to, I guess, keep your members engaged? And now that there's a chance to get back out there, what are you doing to re-engage your members?
Yeah, look, Clive, you know, we've been encouraging our members to come back and start roll-ups, and that was all we've been able to do. We've put things in place, obviously, waiver forms that we got everyone to sign, as well as, you know, the guidelines that were brought out by the government in regards to social distancing, cleaning of mats and jacks, all those sorts of things that we're doing, and making sure that people come back and try and, you know, get back to the club and start to try and enjoy the facilities that the club provides. And, you know, we found I'm getting over 150 people a week just wanting to roll up. So, you know, in that regard, it's been great. It's getting them outdoors, getting them back and socialising once again after, you know, the COVID-19 hit back in March the 23rd. So we're now looking at starting our social events again. From next week, we're allowed 20 people on a green, which is fantastic. So we can start our championships once again in early July. going forward, and all our state championships will follow that. So it's good times. It's slow. It's a slow process, as we all know, and everyone's been very patient in regards to that. But from a club's perspective, they've been very cautious, and we've had to dot the I's and cross the T's, and making sure that we've put all those guidelines in place.
Gee, talking of 150 people a week making inquiries and so forth, how big is your club, and how many members have you got?
We've got 500 members.
Wow.
We've got just over 300 men and about 160 women at this point. We're probably the largest bowling club on the mid-north coast by far in regards to membership. We were the biggest club in the Northern Hemisphere back a few years ago in the late 80s, early 90s, when they had 700 members. So being a retiree area in Port Macquarie, therefore we've had a lot of numbers over the years. But, it's a great progressive club, good management, good committees that we work with. So having that all in place makes my job a lot easier, and just basically rolling along with it.
We might go with Southern Hemisphere rather than the Northern Hemisphere, unless you had a big move. No, it's all good, mates. And no, we'll keep going.
Sorry,
and I guess, Craig, some of the clubs have been doing it tough in recent years as well. So it's not just COVID, but some of the clubs in recent years have been doing it tough for all manner of things. And some of your clubs have been lucky enough to be able to get onto the Bowls Australia Disaster Relief Fund and get some help through there.
Yeah, they definitely have. Things like natural disasters, floods, fires. As you touched on, I have had a number of clubs that have suffered those tragedies and have worked with those to access or make them aware that this fund exists and to access it and apply to that fund. The funding that they've received from that has gone towards helping them re-establish themselves and get back going again. And I think the beauty about the fund is it's clubs donating to that fund. So effectively it's clubs helping clubs, which is a really positive thing. That clubs are able to support each other in that way, and be able to help clubs that are in tough times and face tragic situations, both through accidental causes and as I touched on, natural disasters. So I certainly encourage clubs to apply for that if they've suffered a disaster. And also, by the same token, encourage clubs to donate to it as well, because it certainly goes to helping clubs get back on their feet. So the disaster relief applications and donations can be both made through the Bowls Australia website at bowls.com.au under the club support tab. So definitely check that out and donate where you can.
It's certainly a situation where every little bit helps in those sorts of situations. So certainly encourage clubs to get involved. Now, speaking of donations, I noticed that Port City have been quite active in the community, Phil, and have recently been involved in a donation. Yeah,
we have, Clive. Look, we started Jack Attack probably 4 years ago now, which has been a great success for us, for new club members as well as charity, donating to our local charities here in the Hastings, from the Cancer Council, breast cancer, the whole lot. So, it's the community get behind a lot of our charities here, and Jack Attack's been a great success for us. We get 26 to 28 teams, and we run it twice a year in the summer periods on a Friday night. It's short and sharp, and like Jack Attack's like, so it doesn't take a long time, and kids can play, the whole family can play, and it's a great atmosphere with a bit of music and a bit of food afterwards, and it gets people involved. And we try and obviously pick up some members, some young members, as well as the age group that we're looking for, from the 30s through to their 50s when they come out of their sporting life of cricket and football, etc. So from that perspective, it's been fantastic, and be able to help out the local charities. We're really proud of what we've done over the last 4 years.
I believe it's the entry fees for your Jack Attack competition that go to charity, but you've also had some donations of some bowls as well.
Yeah, we have. A lady approached me in the Grade 1 pennant last year, when they were playing. And anyway, she had contacted Craig, and Craig had contacted me, and we donated a set of bowls for a young fella up there, and a set of junior bowls. So, you know, it was just a great thing to be able to put back to other people and other clubs, just to help out people with disabilities and be able for them to enjoy the game of lawn bowls.
Yeah, Craig, for people and clubs that are interested in Jack Attack, it's a great option to get some people out in the green.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, it gets away from that barefoot bowls where, you know, you don't know whether they're going to come back. So getting people, you know, back to the club over a number of weeks and, you know, playing the game on a more regular basis, obviously affords that opportunity to engage people in the sport, and, you know, to obviously fall in love with it. And, you know, as Phil's touched on, they've managed to gain members over the years from that. You know, Phil runs a two-tiered membership, and, you know, he's attracted people into going into the first tier and then transitioning into the second tier. So in that particular space, you know, it's worked for them. But more importantly, it's just about getting people playing bowls on a regular basis at the club, and engaging with them in that way.
Phil, there'll be clubs out there that are saying, yes, well, we've had community bowlers, we've had Jack Attack and so forth, and we struggle to recruit members as a result of that. What's your advice to them, and what's your trick?
Yeah, look, there's a few things. You know, Craig and I, you know, it's been a great supporter of Jack Attack, as well as helping me develop an open day, which we've run twice a year, where we've opened that up to everybody. You know, sent out through social media outlets, emails to our social members, and opening the greens up and just inviting everyone to come down. And we do a questionnaire. You know, did you like it? Would you come back? And then it's all the follow-up from there, Clive. You know, just contacting them. How did you enjoy it? Would you like to come back and, you know, have a roll-up or some coaching, etc. So it just starts to get them to think that there's another sport. You know, if they're not sporty types of people, especially kids who don't like physical contact sport, you know, this is a great opportunity for them to get into bowls. And I think, you know, from there we've had some really good results. I mean, you've got to put a little bit of time and effort into it, but it certainly pays off going forward. And if you keep that going, you know, you'll get them back and hopefully get them as members and as social members as well for the club.
There's never been a better time to be advertising a non-contact sport either, has there? I mean, it's right. Ideal.
Absolutely. And as you know, since Rob Perella probably doesn't play at top level anymore, no contact anymore. So, you know, it's a great opportunity for, you know, especially for families. And, you know, we do encourage a lot of it, and we're a family-oriented club. So it's great to be able to provide that for families on a Sunday, come and enjoy the game of bowls.
And of course, not only getting people involved, but there's a financial aspect to Jack Attack as well, and getting more people out there. Has the club noticed a revenue change there?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. We've done extensions to the club over the last few years. We provide, you know, some nibblies and things at the end of the game for all our Jack Attack players, and then they can use the facilities of the club, you know, afterwards. Runs for 5 weeks. So they come back, it's an hour and a half, and then they, you know, they're obviously, you know, having a beer and maybe putting a dime in the pokies. So, you know, and they have definitely noticed the difference in regards to, and we've tracked, you know, profits and when Jack Attack's been run between those months. So it's been a real success for us.
Fantastic. Well, it's a great initiative, and it's great to know that you know, the club out there that's tried something and it's succeeding. So it's fantastic. In terms of marketing to the community, you touched on the open day and a questionnaire and so forth, and really getting to know what people are after. I'll go to you first, Phil, and just how much information has the club been able to glean by doing things like that?
Yeah. So, as I said before, you know, Craig and I sat down and put a questionnaire together. So we thought, you know, getting that information back from the participants was vital for us. And the follow-up was also a very important thing for us to follow through. So it's been successful. It's it's not something that works straight away. You've got to, you've got to get continuity with it. That's why we try and roll it out, in the summer months, maybe on a Sunday morning when, we know that a lot of kids play sport on a Saturday. So we looked at the times and the best time to actually run an open day. And, the old days are gone when you throw a flyer in someone's letterbox and sit and wait. You've got to actually be more, more proactive and, and email and put it out there on social media. So by using those outlets, we've found it's been successful. And we had over 80 people just turn up for a 2-hour session where we gave away some sausage sandwiches and a couple of prizes to the kids, and just so they went away with a memory, that memory of, I really enjoyed it. I look forward to coming back. And as I said, once again, you've really got to follow it up, and contact them and invite them back again. So from that, we've learned a lot, and obviously it's been really good for us in that regards. And we have picked up new members, and that's the way you got to do it. In an area where we are of elderly people, and it's the retiree area, we're trying to engage those younger people into the game. And as you know, it can be very difficult to keep them. So by the short, sharp games that, and I credit Bowls Australia for what they've done, and in regards to BPL and things like that, and the coverage they're now getting on TV with Foxtel and etc. It's really starting to give the game a great push forward in a shorter, sharper game, which I think is the real thing that's going to happen in the future to keep these guys here. So
fantastic. Yeah. Craig, I guess the message I'm hearing in that is it's one thing to get people through the door once. It's another to encourage them to come back, make them feel welcome and want to come back.
Yeah, exactly. And when Phil and I initially engaged in it, it was, clubs run open days and they're successful. They get people down there, but they don't know necessarily who these people are. As Phil touched on with the follow-up. So what Phil and I tried to put together was, well, what's the right questions to ask? What information does the club need to be able to find out, A, did these people enjoy the day? What did we do well? What can we do better? And also how to re-engage with these people for upcoming events. It might not necessarily be just to push what days a club social bowls are on. It might be about their next open day or their Jack Attack competition, but just giving some platform to be able to re-engage with these people who attended the day to try and get them back to the club in some capacity. Predominantly, playing bowls would be great, but just being able to, as I said, re-engage with those people.
All right. So, Craig, while I'm with you, your message now to clubs that you've been forced to take a break, forced to hit the reset switch a little bit. So clubs that are now thinking, well, what can we do differently? What can we do to relaunch our club post-COVID-19? What's your message to them?
Put the work in. As far as, plan what you're going to do. So have a plan in place of what you are going to do, how you're going to do it, what the day's going to look like, what you're going to actually do on the day, and then have some follow-up from that. So you're able to try and engage these people, give them a good experience, and you never know, they might bring their family and friends back the next time because they've had that good experience. Things don't happen by accident. Phil's had success because he's put the work in there. So I would encourage people to not be afraid to try. Even if something you tried 5-10 years ago didn't work, doesn't mean it won't necessarily work now. So I would just encourage the people to have a think about what works in their demographic and put the plan in place, go ahead with it, and then have your follow-up ready and sit back and then see, what you did well, what you can improve on, and just keep trying.
Yeah, and certainly reach out for the help that's out there, whether it's to the regional bowls manager in your area, whether it's the website and using some of the tools that are there. It's all there to help you. Now, Phil, in terms of giving something a shot, giving something a go, you never find out unless you give something a try, do you?
That's right, Clive. And as Craig touched on, it's all about the planning. And if you've got a good committee around you, or, some workers there that will, help you out. I mean, I know with our open day, I invited all our coaches down just to give some pointers to the new ones that hadn't played before. Things like that. And we put on a sausage sandwich, and, and even, we even were thinking about putting in a jumping castle for the kids. So the parents could, and someone minding the kid while they're having fun. And, so that sort of thing, just, it doesn't cost a lot of money, to put on a day like that for the club, and you'll get a lot of return back in it. And you get a lot of self-satisfaction as well from my perspective. And from a club's perspective, hopefully we can get new bowlers, and also that they become social members and enjoy the facilities of Port City Bowling Club. So, it's not hard. You just got to get the right committee, as I said, and get in and have a go. And you'll be surprised. I was very optimistic when I first did it, thinking, oh, what happens if nobody turns up? I'm going to have egg on my face. I said to Craig, what happens, don't worry, just be positive. And, and it was great. And, we had 70 people turn up. So it was over and above our expectations. So, for anyone out there, have a go and get your committee involved.
I think you've summed that up really well. The apprehension that's sometimes there, but have a go, and good things can happen. Phil, we really appreciate your time. Congratulations on how the club's going, and good luck into the future as we reopen and relaunch our sport. And we really do appreciate your time spent with us.
Thanks, Clive, and thanks for inviting me along today. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and to you, Craig, top work, mate. And we certainly encourage everyone to contact your regional bowls manager. There's plenty of advice and support that can be given. And if one of us doesn't have an answer, that answer's available amongst the team.
Yeah, and I think, Clive, the important thing too is we've got national coverage as far as the RBM program extends, and we can reach out to all corners to see what's working in other areas, and offer different advice and tips to clubs in a range of different spaces. So I would completely encourage clubs to pick up the phone, whether it's a very simple question or you want to do some planning. Your RBM is certainly there for you to help in that space. So we're certainly here for the clubs, and I take no more pride than, when somebody calls me and, like, Phil did, and said, this is what I've got, this is what I'm thinking of doing, what do you think? And being able to work with him on that, finding something that works, and them having success from it. And I know everybody in the team feels the same way. So, with those successes, and, we're here to help the clubs out in good times and also in not so good times. So definitely give your RBM a call. We're all very approachable, and if we don't have the answer, we can certainly go and get it for you. So.
Alrighty, there you have it. That is episode 3 of the RBM Roundtable. We will catch you next time.